So in today's demo, we're going to be covering moving data from Shopify into Netsuite, and also bidirectionally grabbing products from Netsuite. So first thing is that we have mastered the products from Netsuite into Shopify, so we can utilize those products as we push those over into Netsuite. We add, in this case, we're going to add a new sales order in Shopify against an existing customer and then push that order over to NetSuite. So we'll run the customers over from NetSuite into, Shopify into NetSuite, and then we'll run the orders over to NetSuite from Shopify, and we'll be able to see that new customer order that we created. Last thing we'll actually do is we'll go and create a new vendor flow to grab vendor information from NetSuite in that case. And we'll basically just build that flow from scratch so you can see what the connector looks like and how to get to the different objects in NetSuite in that case. So first things first, we'll go into the browser here. I'm going to refresh this. Then we're going to go in and take a look at the Shopify products. Now these are the products that we mastered over from NetSuite. We can see all the products that came in here. And we did that through a Jitterbit job where we actually pull those in via this. Now I've already run that, so we could have those products in for the demo. But suffice it to say, those are being mastered from NetSuite going forward. So I'll close this up. And we'll go back over here. So we're going to create a new sales order in Shopify, and we'll create one against, let's find a customer here. I think there's a John Smith. So we'll use John Smith in this case. We'll browse out to the products, take a look at the products that we have to offer. And John says he wants a Subaru 2.5 RS. So we'll click there. We'll add that to the order. So we've got that as the line item on the order. We'll go ahead and mark this as paid so we can create an order. And we'll set that create order here. Now we're not going to fulfill the order here. Most of the time you'll fulfill the order in your ERP. Kind of depends upon what your use cases are. In this case, we're going to do it unfulfilled. If you push things over from Shopify as fulfilled, there's more parameters you need to set in the push to pull those fulfilled orders over rather than the unfulfilled, because it has the expectation that you've already fulfilled those, so you don't need to do that on the NetSuite side in that case. So we do have the order here. We've added that to John Smith in this case. And next thing we will do is we're going to go into Jitterbit here, and we're going to kick this off and run the customers. Now, basically what this flow is doing, we're grabbing the customers from Shopify. We're passing those through or transforming those. In this case, we're taking the raw JSON format as it comes out of Shopify. Since it is a API, we're just taking that raw. We can transform that to something else if we needed to, maybe push it to an FTP site, pull it over, whatever the process needs to be there. In this case, we just extracted it as the raw JSON and passed that through to NetSuite as the input to create those customers in this case. Now, as we were doing that, we also returned the IDs from NetSuite in case we wanted to bidirectionally write those back to Shopify. So we have all those ID keys lined up between the two systems. So I'll go over to NetSuite. We'll take a look here. We'll say Shopify, and we can see we've got the customers here. So if I go into the customer, John Smith, we can take a view or look at that. We'll scroll down. We'll take a look. There's no transactions there yet because we haven't actually run those orders over yet. So I'll go back to Jitterbit. We're going to kick this off. This is going to basically run the orders over. Now, this is going to run all orders, so we can look at orders from other customers and things like that. If you want to run just specific orders in particular cases, you can parse that down, or you can put in parameters in order to just bring over specific orders, or you can even do this in real time through our API platform. So Now, what this job is doing, it's very similar to what we did before. It's taking the Shopify orders, transforming that. We're actually taking the raw JSON again, and then writing those in as the orders from Shopify into NetSuite. So when we go back to NetSuite, we should see those transactions for those orders that we created, both on the existing users that already had orders should come over, like I mentioned, and then also the new one for John Smith that we have here. So I'll go back into NetSuite. We're going to refresh, and we can see here, this is John Smith still. We can see here that we do have a new sales order there. So that's the new sales order that we put in on 6/6. We can also go look at a couple of others. We'll say, look at Shopify. And let's go to Eddie Murphy, for example. If we scroll down Eddie Murphy, I think he's got some orders. Yep, he's got some orders on there. So we can see those orders also. So those were brought over. Now, these are the generated dates of 6/6 because we just ran all orders at the same time. So in this case, we didn't bring the actual creation date from Shopify. But if we did, then it would actually show those specific dates for those orders also. So that's really taking customers from Shopify, pushing those into NetSuite, and then also applying those orders in NetSuite for those users also. So what we'll do next, like I mentioned, we're going to go into vendors, and we're going to create a new vendor job in order to grab vendor information from NetSuite. Now, with the NetSuite connection, if you haven't seen this yet, this is how you connect to NetSuite. This is the old version. You can convert to TBA, and a lot of folks are using TBA now at this date. But the idea is that we do support both levels of authentication. And I believe that TBA is going to take over here in the next few months. Now, the other thing with our NetSuite connector is that it is black box to use. So you have the API is applied, but basically it's a wizard-driven process that helps you drive through that process to build these steps. There's no code. You don't have to pull WSDLs. You don't have to make REST connections and SOAP connections in the case of the Pivo connectors like you see here. So what you do have access to is the creates, updates, get lists, upserts, deletes, or searches. So if we're going to do vendor, we'll go here. We're going to say, let's create a new search for vendor. And then this is going to take us into the wizard. Now, I will use I believe we're using the SSO NetSuite endpoint. We've already run data, so we know it does work. So I'll click next. And now we're into the objects. Now, this is all standard and custom objects in this case. If I create new custom objects or new applications and things like that, then you will see those in here when you refresh. So in this case, since we were doing the customer, and we already did the orders, I'll go down to vendor, like I mentioned, just in case we want to pull vendor information. We can do basic searches, expanded searches, advanced, or saved searches. So we can do any of the searches available in NetSuite in this case. I'll click next. And then here's all our fields that are coming over. Now I can also, join, grab data from other objects. I can also define filters. In this case, since we're just going through to take a look at the wizard and drive through that step process, we're just going to take it as is. So I'll click finish. And then we see the vendors here. Now this is the structure, and I do have a vendor structure already pre-built to match this up. So we'll create a new operation here. We'll say transform, create new transformation, and we're going to go to JSON and click next. And then we should have, I thought I had a vendor here. Let's go back. Let's do text. I think I have a text version where we're going to flat file. There we go. So we have a vendor in a flat file format, so it's just a temp file rather than JSON for vendor. We can take the raw JSON structure also if we wanted to, but in this case, I pre-built the NetSuite vendor. So I'll click vendor. We can see all the fields there associated to vendor and click finish. Now that pops up. That's our structure. And then we go down to our record list and our vendor. And now we have that whole structure there. So what I can do is I can grab the vendor, I can drag it over and map it up here. And then that's going to auto map as much as it can. Now I can also drag and drop the objects over here if I wanted to, or the fields in this case, and basically map those up from scratch and also do transformations if I needed to. In this case, we're just going to pass it through as is. I'll say save and close. I'll refresh that, and then we'll do the target here. So we'll have the vendor extract here. Now this was, I had already pre-built this. Again, this is basically going to write the format of what I just built in my transformation. So I say Netsuite vendor extract, click save, and now we have a new step pulling vendor information out in case we wanted to put that vendor information into Shopify or some other system from Netsuite. So that concludes the demo for today. If you have any questions, please contact support. And thank you for your time.